Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be across this beautiful blue-green globe of ours. Welcome to Real News Live. It is a toxically masculine Taco Bell Tuesday. I'm your host, Mike Bara, in Las Vegas, Nevada. Joined as I always am by the usual crew. Amazingly, we all made it. We're all here. I wasn't sick. God, last Tuesday, guys, I was really sick. I thought I was positive I had a sinus infection. I had all kinds of shiz going on. But here we are. We finally made it. I'm joined as I always am by the other members of the crew. To the man to my immediate right, my stage left, my immediate right. I don't know. Dr. Brooks Agnew from somewhere in the Carolinas. Brooks, how you doing? What are you drinking? And how's the house coming along? I'm just drinking water.
Doing pretty well. Drinking coffee. It's been in the low 80s the last week and a half or so. What a reprieve from the 90s.
Oh, yeah, fuck you, actually. Yeah.
We have made it through a couple of inspections. We got a couple more to go, and we should be ready for certificate of occupancy. Woo!
Isn't it bizarre that in this country you have to get permission to build your own domicile? I mean,
it's way
how
worse
crazy is that? How insane.
Way worse than that. Not only do you have to get permission, you got to find the money because it's illegal for banks to loan you the money to build your own house.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. I'm gonna just get my quesadilla out here. The man immediately below him, but not beneath him in any way, shape, or form, the most toxically masculine member of this toxically masculine crew from nowhere, Fuckville, Arkansas tonight. Steve Doran, the trail boss. Steve, how you doing? You're looking great. What are you drinking? And what is up?
I'm doing good. Doing good. Drinking lemon water. Don't feel sorry for you a bit for last week. You should have just been a man, taken a shot of whiskey and moved on. But no, you had to go to the emergency room, get all kinds of medications, pain relievers, the usual sissy bullshit that you go through every time that you have a problem. So, I guess whiskey and wisdom has taught you nothing.
I'm pretty wimpy. I got to admit that. I'm kind of a hothouse flower. I'm not going to really argue that, Steve, compared to you. But remember, folks, Steve is so masculine that he survived me shooting him in the face. That's how masculine.
With no permanent injuries, thank you very much, except a scar.
No permanent injuries, no disfigurement.
Well, no, I got a scar.
Not even a Band-Aid. Not even a Band-Aid. All right, and of course, tonight, last on the menu, first in our hearts, the most.
By the way, anybody, just so you know, we all love Blake Wally, even though he is the most inappropriate member of the team.
Inappropriate?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so it's the most sexually attractive member of the group to the women on this side of it, especially when he did the whole snake plissken thing. No homo. TV's Blake Wally. Blake, how you doing? It looks like the strip club's not quite open yet, but I can tell it's going to be coming along here pretty soon. And what are you drinking tonight?
Yeah, we are getting the club ready. It's very early, so we'll look forward to seeing you guys later. Get free cover if you've watched the show for sure. But it's great to be here. It's been a while. Hopefully my internet holds up as I've had a serious network nightmare I've been dealing with, and I'm stuck on 2G for another 2 weeks. So,
yeah.
Is it affected? I'm just curious. Is it affecting your other show, or are you pre-recording?
No, I don't think I would be able to host a live stream. I could probably participate in one.
Well, you are participating in one right now, so
yeah,
that is true. So guys, I'm sorry, what are you drinking?
Oh, new bottle of Jim Beam Double Oak we're going to try. Okay.
The only guy who's got the balls to drink some whiskey. tonight is TV's Blake. Well, you know, Blake, we're gonna have you on Whiskey and Wisdom sometime if you're a whiskey drinker, because you are a whiskey drinker.
So you haven't even tried it yet, Blake?
I have not. No, we're gonna
All
try.
right, here we go. You gotta drink it and tell us how it tastes.
No, I'm eating a quesadilla right now, but I do have a taco in there, which I'm gonna have.
No, I'm talking. Blake's never tried this double barrel whiskey before.
And the jury says
It's pretty good. I like it.
Pretty good. I like it.
All right.
All right. Which of the four? Why are the four of you handsome devils still single? Well, we're not all single. We're not all single.
We are.
And
We are.
we are.
Yep.
Oh. Okay.
You know me.
Wow.
They get long in the tooth. Gotta go.
Wow. Okay, I did not know that. But you still have your dogs, right?
Oh, I have everything. I don't.
Okay, so that's
I don't do the Steve puts a black trash bag over his shoulder and walks away with nothing anymore. Steve keeps everything he owns. They walk away with the black trash bag.
All right. Wow. Well, okay. So tomorrow, don't forget to tune in to Whiskey and Wisdom for my Mike Bara's bad dating advice, which is good. How are we still single? Well, you know, by choice, man. By choice. Stay tuned.
Well, the difference is that some guys chase women and other guys choose women.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we choose, and if there's nothing to choose from and it's not up to our standard, then why bother?
That's true. It's
better to be alone and happy with your life than with somebody and miserable.
Yeah, ladies, I'm just going to warn you. This is the future. This is MGTOW. Blake, did you have something you wanted to say?
No, I agree with Steve, and I'm a Sigma male, whatever that is. But yeah, I'm highly independent. I embrace that independence. It's a different era.
I mean, really, this is the deal. When you get married, what does the woman usually bring to the relationship? Nothing.
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
Oh, I would. Because it's like, you know, they come in, if you own a business, all of a sudden they're your partner and they had nothing to do with it. Or you own whatever, a Maserati. Oh, it's my Maserati. They did nothing to earn it. They automatically assume that whatever is yours is theirs immediately. And they start telling everybody, you know, how they are so financially gifted that they were able to obtain all these things without any assistance whatsoever. And you're just the slug who they feel sorry for, and they're allowing to use their stuff. I mean, women are the most full of shit creature on the planet. It's not even funny. And we see that all the time. I mean, with guys, you and I can argue whatever. At the end of the day, we're still friends.
We're buddies.
We can not see eye to eye, and that's okay. Not true with a woman. She has to emotionally manipulate everything. She has to turn it around to make you're always the bad guy, no matter what. And so unless you find somebody, I mean, there are very few. I'm not going to say there are no special women out there, but there are few. Very few.
Yeah. Laura, so I was the breadwinner in my marriages. I picked two betas. Never again. I did not expect this to become a red pill show tonight, but it is. If you don't know what the red pill is, or MGTOW, which is men going their own way, look it up. It's really interesting stuff, and it is true. And this is really true from Robert Chandler. You know, men are not avoiding commitment. Men are not avoiding women. And we are not avoiding marriage. We are avoiding divorce.
And we are avoiding relationships that make us miserable.
Right. Happily single with two dogs. Yeah, Patriot Dental Hygienist. Wow, Steve just went for it tonight. Yeah. Carl says, y'all can visit me in the Philippines. Married every night, divorce in the morning. Money talks, bullshit walks. Love is 1,500 pesos. Ooh, okay, Carl. Well, you know, there's the whole passport bros thing where American men just go to the Philippines or Thailand or one of these countries and find a good wife. And Filipino women are not only beautiful, but they make great wives. They really
I mean, American women always complain that men go to foreign countries to get wives. Mm-hmm. Well, because they want somebody who is a traditional wife.
Yes.
right? Somebody who doesn't, play all the games that American women play. And, I've heard, I have never met a woman ever that was in a relationship that ended where they were the least bit guilty. They were always the victim. Always, no matter what. Shut up. They were always the victim. And never did they were the perfect wife. They did everything right. And that bastard drove them away. And it's like, wait a minute. So
he cheated on me. He cheated on me. Well, when was the last time you had sex with him? 6 months ago. Okay, well, all right. So now we know.
Or better yet, I've known so many men that have gotten, good quality, solid men that got sick. I had a cousin. He broke his back. And his wife had an affair and left him for the best friend because he couldn't have sex with her for about 6 or 7 months because his fucking back was broken.
Right.
And, and she's like, well, he wasn't the nicest guy in the world. It's like his back was broken. Mm-hmm. What do you expect him to do? Or they get laid off or they're not making the money they used to make or whatever the case may be. And they move on.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to kick some dogs out of here in a minute.
All right. Carl says, in the Philippines, Western countries, it's better to rent than buy. Wow. I've been with my girlfriend for 22 years now. One argument, told her in the beginning, you can leave anytime. The key to eternal bliss is long pillow talk. Yes, and the occasional BJ. Okay. I didn't really want to get into that discussion tonight. That's more appropriate, but we did it, and here it is. And remember, gentlemen, again, remember, before we get to the news, as my dad once told me, the most sage thing my dad told me, he said very simply, if it flies, floats, or fucks, it's cheaper to rent it. Now, having said that, I am open to love. You have to be open to love. It's possible. There are American women who want you for more than just your money.
Everybody is open to an actual, legitimate, loving relationship, partnership. When I say partnership, I don't mean faggots. I'm talking male, female. I don't believe in the other. But I'm saying everybody is looking for, that person who is loyal, who is loving, kind, and, not manipulative.
Fertile, pretty, a virgin. Yeah, takes care of the house. Blake, do you know anybody like that, Blake?
No.
Not over 19.
There's some in Tennessee, I'm sure.
Everybody wants what Blake Wally has or could have had. Folks, I'm just going to leave it at that. Lust is a sin. It's look, I'm sorry. Crypto Mojo. Lust is the reason why all of us are here. If somebody didn't have some lust for that woman, if a man didn't have lust for the woman right in front of him, none of us would be here.
Boobs.
As Bono put it once quite eloquently, which was weird for Bono, but he did. Every human life begins with a kiss, usually on the neck, right about here. That does it for the girls. All right. God, I did not plan on this becoming a MGTOW show or anything like that, or a Red Pill show. So I'm just going to go with it. All right. But
toxically masculine, right?
Yeah. Toxically masculine.
It's toxically masculine, and we're always truthful.
Okay.
We don't make stuff up.
Lust is short-lived, but it can lead to love. It leads to an emotional bonding between men and women. But you got to keep that up, because if you don't keep it up, then everything fades away. All right.
That's why fashion exists. Fashion exists to draw that lust. Otherwise, there's no use for it.
Women's fashion has no use, if not that.
I don't know about anybody else, but if you're not sexually attracted to your partner, then there is no reason to have a partner.
That's absolutely correct. I think we can all agree on that. All right, let's move on to something. I don't know, a little less controversial, like global thermonuclear war or something.
We like that.
All right. However,
it's an easy transition.
There was a major break today in that the Epstein files, or some of the Epstein files, have now been released. The House Oversight Committee releases 30,000 33,000 pages of files on the Epstein court case brought against Ghislaine Maxwell. And her name is not Gay or Giz, or it's Jizz. Okay, her name is Ghislaine. That was her nickname. Her nickname literally was Jizz among her friends. G-H-I-S. They call her Ghislaine on the news. You know, it's like, oh, come on. It's just like when you're watching a segment on a space show or something, and, you know, they're talking about Uranus. No, it's Uranus, dude. Let's just face facts. That's what the planet's called. It's fucking Uranus. Whether you like it or not. Ooh, I didn't mean to say it that way. 33,000 files have been released. Let's go to my likes and check it out. Yeah, I think they said something like 33,000 files have been released. This is Representative Tim Burchett a little earlier in the day, met with some survivors of the Epstein affairs. He said, we've got to rethink the whole files thing. Apparently, there's some files they don't want out. I think we're going to get to the right spot where we can release everything that needs to be released. Let's watch and listen to Tim Burchett.
These ladies were mistreated, of course, by Epstein and Maxwell, but also mistreated by our government. And we got to rethink the whole files thing. Apparently, there's some files that they don't want out. So I've said all along, we need to protect these young ladies, but they're ladies. I guess they were young, they're kids when it happened. So yeah, we need to make sure we do that. And I think we're going to get there. I think we're going to get to the right spot where we can release everything that needs to be released. But again, in our rush to do this, we have to protect these ladies and these others that were involved.
Is that what they were advocating for in there, to keep some things private?
Yeah, because I asked specifically. It wasn't really a question and answer, but they made a statement, and I asked specifically about certain files. I don't want to disclose too much because obviously, but yeah, I think we need to protect these young ladies.
Are you still going to sign on to Massey's discharge petition?
I got to clarify that we can protect what they need to protect. I think we all agree on that.
Okay, so that apparently is what happened. Now, here's the thing. Thomas Massey, Representative Thomas Massey, has said that he's going to put a petition forward to release, quote, all the Epstein files that everybody holds. These are only the ones that the DOJ holds. So, Brooks, I don't know if you know the answer, but are we talking about the same files? By the way, thank you for the super chats. Super chats for doing the show are terrific. They're very much appreciated. And Rumble Rants on the Rumble side of the house. Thanks very much. So, Brooks, what files are we talking about? These are part of the court case files. And I can actually show you. Let's go and share this tab. Can actually show you a little bit if yeah. These files, here are the actual files on a link posted by Anna Paulina Luna about 2 hours ago. Wow. And if you click on them, these are the court documents that have been, I guess, redacted previously, and they've been withheld, and they're now all out. They've simply put them all out. It talks about what was going on in the case. I believe it does name names. What do you think of this development, and are these all the files? Because when I think about the Epstein files, what I'm talking about is the list of clients and the people on the flight logs and how many times they went and how long they were there and what video, if any, was found on the island. What do you think?
Well, see, there are several levels to this. The level that the DOJ is concerned with right now is the girl victim level. Each one of those documents that you could open right there involves multiple indictments. There are indictments in those documents. Now, it's Jane Doe in a lot of the cases, but the people are very real. They have been interviewed. The grand jury has already got their evidence together, and they've already issued trial dates or at least requests for trial. That's one level. The other level is who the girls were marketed to. They were marketed to congressmen, world leaders, judges, military people, bankers. And what we're seeing is some of those people resign, commit suicide, not run for re-election. They're dropping out one by one. And that's That's the actual client list. That's the blackmail ring. That's why Epstein Island existed in the first place. It wasn't so Jeffrey could look at nubiles running around his island in bikinis. No, they used that as a draw to bring in these people so they could blackmail them. And that's the third level. The third level is, what were they doing with that blackmail? Well, who were they manipulating? Who were they backing into a corner and making them do their bidding? That's why this is all shrouded in secrecy.
Okay, so Blake, any guesses on that? I mean, obviously, I don't think Burchett is on the list. And by the way, Burchett is probably one of my favorite congressmen. My friend Tom Reed knows him. He's interested in UFOs. He's been involved in the hearings. He's interested in the truth. I think he's a great congressman. Blake, what do you think? I mean, I think what Brooke said is absolutely correct. This is all the things we need to know. Who were they blackmailing? Do you think that's going to be in any of these files? And if so, what difference do you think it'll make? And Steve, just hold your water there, buddy. We're getting to you.
Well, I'd like to be optimistic about that. Yes, Tim Burchett is a great patriot. Is one of the best people that we have in Washington. He is a real deal type of guy. But as far as any bombshells in there, it's hard to say, because I've already been disappointed with the JFK files and what have you. So it sounds like it's a lot of content, but until there's anything actually, bombshell in it, like with these high level clients. But we do know that he's, it's a great point. Who is he blackmailing? Because he was an asset of the intelligence agencies,
Correct.
Not necessarily one or the specifically, but a conglomerate, and they use that as a big honeypot trap for everybody. So yeah, that could have changed the outcomes of war, depending on what they're blackmailing people for. That could change the outcome of the trajectory of the future of our planet, potentially, depending on how people voted to go, doing certain things or making choices affected by, what they've dug up on certain people. So yeah, it's going to be exciting, and I'm glad that they're still working on it. So that's good. They're back in session. So hopefully they're right back to work, at least on some of these, important issues. So that's good. It hasn't died yet. So that gives me optimism. But as far as getting anything bombshell, I think they're going to try to stall, of course, and drag their feet every step of the way.
Steve, does this give you a warm, fuzzy feeling in your belly, or is this just more bullshit we have to put up with? We're not getting anywhere.
Bullshit. No, I mean, it's more bullshit. The reality is we know some major players were involved in the Epstein Island fiasco, whatever you want to call it. And what will come out of this is they will have their sacrificial lambs that they will, put their heads on the chopping block, parade them around in front of the general public. But any of the major players, any of the people who, like Obama, Clinton, those people, they're going to give them a pass. They're going to walk. And those are the people that the American people want in prison. Places like Epstein Island exist typically for those types of people, because it's a way for them to do all the horrible, hideous things that they like to do and walk away scot-free with no witnesses to testify against them. In this particular case, things were leaked out, people were arrested, and evidence was brought forth. But I'm telling you, the evidence against the major players is not going to be there.
Okay, so let's assume that's all correct. What else are we waiting for? I mean, certainly there are these thousands of files, and there's all this video on the Wiener laptop and all this other stuff. Brooks, where is the rest of this? And is this just another attempt to satiate us, to say, oh, have a piece of candy here. Here, suck on this pacifier for a while. Or is this just going to be nothing? Because Trump, remember, I believe one of the reasons why these aren't released is because Trump wants to use them as leverage to get votes on certain things that he thinks are coming up in the next 2 years.
And that's what it's all been used for from the very beginning. Why give up the best leverage that you have? The other thing is that because the world leaders, and we're talking about the highest levels, we're talking about MPs from Britain, we're talking about bureaucrats. We're talking about congressmen. The highest levels of government brought to this island and compromised is because Jeffrey Epstein, and by the way, Steve nailed it. Epstein was an asset. Epstein was a CIA asset, and he was used to set up this operation and run this operation. A lot of people think he's still alive because he's just too damn valuable for what he was and what he had possession of. So to answer your question, I think they're going to dribble it out to protect their leverage as best they can. They won't just let it all out because then they lose their leverage. I hate it, but that's the game they're playing.
Okay, so let's get out of this question. Is this a step forward in transparency, full transparency in the Epstein case, or is it a step backward, or is it just completely neutral? Blake, what do you think?
I'm going to be optimistic and go forward.
Okay, we're moving forward. Steve, what do you think?
Exactly what you said. It's a pacifier to make the American people feel like they're doing something when they're really not. I mean, again, just go back to the Doge. You know, oh, we've caught people stealing trillions. They're Democratic elected officials. We have all these, corporations that are benefiting from trillions of stolen taxpayer dollars. Not one arrest, not one person named, none of it.
Now, Steve, this brings up. Okay, go ahead, Brooke. Sorry. Go ahead.
Well, we have had a lot of resignations. Look at Gerald Nadler. Gerald Nadler just announced that he's not running for re-election. This is another deep state swamp rat that's dropping out because they've said, look, Gerald, you're out or you are definitely out. You're out or you're going down.
Okay.
Java the Nadler, yeah.
But I look at it from this perspective. Okay. I don't care who's in power. Trump doesn't matter to me. When you have people that committed the heinous acts that these criminals, elected criminals, committed against the people of the United States, I don't want them just resigned. I want them hung publicly, which I'm never going to get my wish on that. Maybe, I don't know, one day. But I mean, they need to be put under the prison for the rest of their natural life.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely concur with that. Okay, I'm going to say that this is a neutral. It's a lateral move. It doesn't do anything to move this forward because I don't think there's going to be anything earth-shattering. You're not going to hear or see Hillary Clinton's name in there. You're not going to see Frazzle Drip. You're not going to see anything that is really going to shift the narrative. Another thing you're probably not going to see is Donald Trump's name in there much, except, no, I never saw Trump there. And no, he never did anything when I was around him. So that's about all you're going to get out of it. Maybe, do you guys think, any of you, do you think that that Luna and Burchett are working with and for Trump on this, or are they working against him, fighting on their own to get this stuff out because he didn't do it?
Well, my thing is that without his okay, none of this would have happened. So when you say working with him, he's saying, okay, you can release this much. You can do this much to keep the American people appeased. I mean, he knows all about it. He knew all about it before they even came out and said a word.
Okay. All right. All right. So we have.
They're both good. They're worked on the UFOs too. So Burchett and Luna. So I think they're independent. I don't know if they're actually working for. I think they're both MAGA working alongside, but I don't know necessarily if they're under any kind of connection with Trump on these two specific issues.
You don't know if they're working with him on this. You don't think?
I don't think so. I would say probably not.
All right. So let's not that we really give a shit about a shitty little country like England, except for the soccer, which is a fun sport. But
well, that's what you care about. The rest of us don't even care about that.
And the Formula One. But England is falling apart. It's literally falling apart in front of us. Let's take a look at an incident that happened earlier this week. And this is just unfucking believable. A young girl, a 12-year-old girl, had to defend her 15-year-old sister from a bunch of third world shithole asylum seekers in Britain, Muslims, let's face reality, who were trying to sexually assault or harass her sister. Let's watch this.
Yes, you have a nice. fucking 12 me. You're fucking bad and
Why are you fucking with us?
You're fucking kid bastards.
Show the knife. Show the knife. Show the knife.
Get away from us.
Show the knife. Show the knife.
Don't touch her.
That's it. That's it. Show the knife.
Don't touch my little sister.
Show the knife. That's it.
Don't fucking touch my little sister. She ain't fucking 12. Wait till I fucking touch me. She's fucking 12 and you just battered me, mate. Wait till I fucking touch me.
Yeah. Show the knife. Maracha.
What you're doing to me, don't touch her. You don't.
Okay, and I'll give you guys 3 guesses who they arrested. They arrested
12-year-old.
with the knives instead of the fucking Muslim rapists who are raping women at exponential rates all through Europe. And then we have this on top of that in England that also happened this week, which was that a British comedian named, I forget his name, Gilner, tweeted out 3 tweets critical of the crazy ass genders, and he said, in a country where pedophiles escape sentencing, where knife crime is out of control, where women are assaulted and harassed every time they gather to speak, the state has mobilized 5 armed officers to arrest a comedy writer. He's a comedy writer. They actually arrested the guy at Heathrow Airport for putting out tweets that they didn't agree with, political tweets which, by the way, if they had their choice, they would arrest all of us as well.
I would suggest that they invite Brooks or Mike to go speak in the UK anywhere, that you decline it.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I might get arrested for my inappropriate tweets. The citizens of the UK are now begging the king to disband this government and call for a new election. If he doesn't do this, Britain is dead. He won't do it because guess what? He is on their side. He is part of the destruction of the United Kingdom. Brooks, Blake, sorry, you looked a little shocked by that. Have you not seen that video? Was that come as a surprise to you that was going on? Blake?
I did see that video. Yes, I've been kind of offline for a week and kind of checked out, but that is horrifying, or at least the still frames. That was kind of more of the full video. No, it's like an absurdist authoritarian regime going on in the UK. England and Scotland look like they've fallen. Ireland is doing a pretty good job of fighting back, but yeah, these people they're having to deal with this just right in their face with this invasion from these foreign countries, and there's no reason for a young girl like this to be carrying that kind of weaponry, but they're allowing them to be just preyed upon by these awful predators, and they're normalizing it. They're not going after them, they're going after the innocent citizens. So they're just shoving these people to the breaking point, and they're going to have to revolt against their government at some point, because it seems like they're all paid off by the globalist World Economic Forum or what have you. They're trying to break those countries and see how much those people will put up with. So it's a tough situation for what they deal with. My heart goes out to what they have to face right now, because they got a big battle ahead of them.
Steve, what should happen to a government that refuses to protect its own citizens and in fact imports low-life Muslim scum to come in and kill, rape, and maim their own citizens? What should happen to the members of the government that allow that?
They need to be disbanded, imprisoned, and in some cases, given the death penalty. But I hold more than just their government responsible. If you're from the UK and you're watching this and you're a male and you're allowing this to happen to your women and children, you are the biggest piece of scum that clings to the walls of freaking hell. You are useless. The men of the UK, as far as I'm concerned, you're getting everything you deserve because you're the biggest wusses on the planet. You don't deserve anything more than what you're getting because you refuse to fight back, because you're scared that if you fly the Union Jack, it's going to offend somebody and you're going to get arrested, or your neighbors are going to turn you in. You people are absolutely 100% pathetic.
Yep, and it's even happening. It keeps getting worse. Today, there was a young man arrested for for shouting, "Come on, England! Come on, England!" in England.
Come on, England! Come on, England! What's going on? Attention. What's going on? Where comes me? Please, no! What did you do? Lock me up for no man. There's nothing wrong there. They were saying England. I'm walking down the streets in England, and they got arrested. No man. Locked up for no boys. Slamming. Really slamming. Really slamming. Come on, slamming. Yeah. Oh, that was terrible. That was loud enough. That was terrible.
Once again, his crime.
How can
His
even
crime.
a police? How can
What's
you,
that?
as a white policeman or a UK policeman, arrest a guy for being patriotic?
For shouting, "Come on, England!" in England. How the fuck does that
I
even
mean, those
happen?
policemen were not Muslim.
Okay, no, I'm going to propose something really radical here. Is it time, gentlemen, to do just as Ronald Reagan did with the Contras in the 1980s? Find a way to arm the citizens of Britain so that they may take up arms against their country.
No, because they're too big of wimps to use it. And secondly, this is the problem. What we need to do is threaten the country and say, look, we're going to carpet bomb your ass because you are turning over nuclear weapons and nuclear technology and advanced weapons technology to the freaking Arabs. And so you are now our enemy. You are no longer our ally. You are now our enemy. You've proven it by your actions. You've proven it by allowing all these people in. In fact, I think I heard it the other day. Don't quote me on these percentages, but I'm pretty sure I'm correct. London is now 73% Muslim. There's more Muslims in London than there are
Christians.
Well, no, like people who are born and raised there.
Yeah.
Because they're all like refugees.
I don't know if that number is correct, but it would be chilling if it was 10%. As far as I
mean, if you look it up, I don't remember the percentage, but there are more Muslims now than there are Christians.
Brooks, what's going to have to happen? What's going to have to happen here?
Last time I was in London, Steve is exactly right. There wasn't a bar, there wasn't a hotel, there wasn't a restaurant that was not run by Muslims. They permeate the city, and it's their vibe, it's their vibration. You see the Arafat bath towel everywhere. And I have a word for my mates in the UK. I'm Scottish. Here are the words. Listen closely, mates. Get them off the island.
Yep. All right. Moving on to another issue here. What do you think the odds are, Steve, that President Trump is dead and has been replaced by a body double? Because that's exactly what. Now, granted, we're conservatives. We're Q. We all know about Q. We certainly hear a lot of this shit. That's exactly what the liberals were saying this week when President Trump.
Completely different, but about a big viral social media trend over the weekend. How did you find out over the weekend that you were dead? You see that?
No.
People didn't see it for a couple of days. 1.3 million user engagements as of Saturday morning about your demise.
Really? I didn't see that. You know, I have heard it's sort of crazy, but last week I did numerous news conferences, all successful. They went very well, like this is going very well. And then I didn't do any for 2 days, and they said there must be something wrong with him. Biden wouldn't do them for months. You wouldn't see him. And nobody ever said there was ever anything wrong with him. And we know he wasn't in the greatest of shape. No, I heard that. I get reports. Now, you knew I did an interview that lasted for about an hour and a half with somebody, and everybody saw that was on one of your competitors. I did numerous shows and also did a number of truths, long truths, I think pretty poignant truths. No, I was very active over the weekend. They also knew I went out to visit some people at the club that I own pretty nearby on the Potomac River. And no, I've been very active actually over the weekend. I didn't hear that one. That's pretty serious stuff. Well, it's fake news. You know, it's just it's so fake. That's why the media has so little credibility. I knew they were saying like, is he okay? How's he feeling? What's wrong? I said, I just left. And it's also sort of a longer weekend, you know, it's Labor Day weekend. So I would say a lot of people know I was very active this Labor Day. I had heard that, but I didn't hear it to that extent. Go ahead, Peter.
Okay. So, this then they followed it up with Tim Walz, the gay dude who was running for vice president, said this today or yesterday in Minnesota.
You get up in the morning and you doom scroll through things, and although I will say this, the last few days you woke up thinking there might be news. Just saying. There will be news sometime, just so you know, there will be news. You get up in the morning and you doom scroll through things, and
if you get that, here's what he's saying. What he is saying here, quite clearly, is there will be news. Well, what's the news he's talking about? He's talking about the news of President Trump's death. That I take as a threat. I will also remind you that the Minnesota shooter from a couple of months ago said that Tim Walz tried to hire him to kill his political rivals. Now, whether that's true or not, it certainly is out there. And nobody said a goddamn thing about this. Not even anybody on our pals over at Fox News have said a thing about this. Steve, what do you think this really adds up to? And is it just more liberal insanity? I mean, Trump was out playing golf with his granddaughter. Is this just more liberal insanity, or are they plotting something? What would you think as a police officer?
Well, I mean, it's more liberal insanity, but if I didn't hear that that there was an individual who claimed that Tim Walz hired him to take out political opponents. But, I mean, the Secret Service can most assuredly get involved in that and go grab the guy and interview him and figure out what the heck's going on. And, because the FBI can also get involved because it crosses state lines and whatnot. So, again, I think it's liberal insanity, but why is the Secret Service and the FBI not acting on it, even if it's false? I mean, if someone says that I'm going to kill the president, or I say, Mike Bara hired somebody to take out Blake Wally because he's the most handsome member of the team, even if I'm full of it, somebody needs to come and talk to me and verify that, not just let it go.
Yeah. Blake, am I reading too much into what Tim Walz said? A lot of other people have said that, had that opinion. Or do you think this guy is really threatening or wishing to hoping that he gets to enjoy the death of the president? Do you think Trump should be worried about another assassination attempt?
Oh, I'm sure he is constantly. He's got to be under threat. So he's got to have the right people around him. And hopefully he does. And they've probably deterred plenty of threats already, although they really let their guard down in Butler. But he has to be as vigilant as ever, and that's the only way that the Democrats can win now, is if they can somehow just take out their big political nemesis in Trump. And so it's sad to see, but I mean, it's par for the course. That guy is totally messed up. He has no business being the governor of Minnesota. And the press should be questioning him for things like that. And of course, they buried that story where he had the assassin that was, appointed by him. It's disappeared, even though he killed the House Speaker there.
Well, I mean, that's the other thing. I mean, all the important stories have disappeared. I mean, even the guy that was on the roof that shot at Trump. I know more about the school shooter than I do about a guy who tried to assassinate the president of the United States.
And they're hiding that too, and they haven't released any of that stuff. And you make a really good point. And what Blake is letting you know is that there was this guy, Tim Walz appointed this guy to a position in the Minnesota government, and he's the one who killed the leader of the House of Representatives, I think, in Minnesota a few months ago.
Went to her house.
Who was
head.
And he said Tim Walz wanted me to kill a whole bunch of people in Minnesota, that because he wanted the Senate seat. I think he wanted to kill. I think it was Christian Gillibrand that he wanted him to kill.
Klobuchar.
Or Klobuchar. Okay, it was Amy Klobuchar.
This is the thing. I mean, years ago, and not so long ago, all of these things. I mean, they would have been. The news would have been all over it for months. They would have investigated, reinvestigated. The FBI, the Secret Service would have been all over this stuff. Now it's like, he packed the wrong. He took somebody's lunch when he was at work. I mean, that's how they're treating it.
Right.
Take the wrong lunch bag out of the refrigerator.
Brooks, any thoughts on any of this? I mean, does it just show how desperate and crazy and deranged the left is, or is there more to it?
The left is doing what's fashionable. What's fashionable for them is to wish for Trump to be assassinated because they want to get back to what Mitch McConnell calls the regular order. They want to get back to the Ilhan Omar cash machine. They want to get back to the system that makes AOC fucking rich. That's what they want to get back to. They want Trump out because he is destroying their democracy. Well, I say, lead on, Mr. President. I'm with you.
You know, I had a discussion with I'm not going to call her a friend, but someone I know who is very nationalist in her own country. And I said, Dave Bara, my brother, gave me a quote a couple years ago. He said, I really feel like what this country needs is a good dose of like 6 months of benevolent fascism. And I'm kind of thinking, I mean, literally, like you look at Britain, the only way to solve that problem is to send the military out and round up every single immigrant from the last 20 years and take them back to where they came from and say, never come back here again. That's the only way to solve it. So how do we get out of this mess, and how do we get out of, anybody have any thoughts? How do we get out of this reality where people like Walz can get elected? This guy 10, 15 years ago would have been unfucking electable. How do we get out of this? Is it just the fraud that we have to stop, or what if that's not enough? What if we still have guys like this? Anybody have a thought?
Well, I mean,
they're brainwashed by weaponized propaganda. I have conversations with some of these people, and they get angry, with me. They don't want to, hear the perspective. They just want you to confirm what they want to believe. Mm-hmm. And it's not based in reality. It's bizarre. You'd think it would be easy to explain this and show this to people, and they would be on board with it, but they're just totally checked out.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, everybody thinks that things are going to get better. They're not. In fact, when Trump leaves office, whoever gets elected next, for a couple of years, it may be okay. But I'm telling you, anybody who doesn't think that they need to continue to prepare, that they don't need to continue to make sure that they have plenty of food, plenty of supplies to take care of themselves, is sadly mistaken. It's not over. It's just beginning. You're getting a reprieve. Use the reprieve wisely. And make sure that all your ducks are in a row so that when things turn to crap, you are ready for it. Because I'm telling you, once he leaves office, you might get a year, you might get 2, but I doubt you'll even get that long before trouble starts. They need these people in place to make their plans come to fruition. They need them. I mean, It's just like letting all these terrorists into the country, we've identified 100 terrorists when thousands have been led across the border.
Yeah.
They're going to strike at some point. And right now, there's a lull in the storm. They're making everybody, we're working for the American people. We're doing this, we're doing that. And the reality is they're doing nothing.
I don't think they're doing nothing, but they're not doing very much.
Well, I mean, come on. That's what I mean. I hate to sound like a broken record, but if you have identified people stealing trillions of dollars from this country and you won't even name them publicly, are you kidding me?
Yeah. Well, and you uncovered at Los Alamos National Laboratory a ring of thievery, of people stealing from the American people. Now, whatever happened to the officials who were involved in that thievery ring? Did anything ever happen to any of those people?
Well, they had two that were sentenced to federal prison. They went to like Club Fed.
Yeah.
Most of them were terminated, but then they came back to work a week later for a contractor making double what they were making before they were terminated. So, it's the same old story, same old game. And of course, who does the government come after? The people who expose it. But I mean, that's just the way it is. It's like they're so bold about it. I mean, they know that they're untouchable. They own the government. They own the prosecutors. They own the law enforcement in the area, the FBI offices, all that kind of stuff. Because if you look at all these people that investigate these things from a law enforcement, which I hate to use that term because you're a peace officer, not a law enforcement officer, but from a law enforcement perspective, all of those guys end up going to work for the lab or some contracting agency when they retire, making just ridiculous money, and they still have contacts on the inside to feed them information. I mean, just the espionage that was going on while we were there should have shut that place down, and hundreds of people should have went to prison. But no, nobody wants to go that far because their retirement job and their $300,000 a year, $500,000 a year, whatever it is, rests on their being able to make it go away.
Right. Case in point, look at Lucy Cook. Lucy Cook has been accused of mortgage fraud. She's the lead mortgage person in the country.
Yeah, she's a Federal Reserve
governor. She's governor. Of
governor.
Board.
Yeah.
She's obviously a DEI hire, but that's not why I'm bringing this up. President Trump finds out about it. He wants more leverage on the board, so he fires her. She says, "You don't have the authority to fire me. I'm here for 14 years, baby." And he says, "No, I have the authority to fire you. You're fired. And by the way, your ID is not going to work at the gate. You're not going to be able to park. You're not going to be able to get to your desk. When you do get to your desk, if you do get to your desk, somebody else is going to be sitting there. You understand? You're fired." Well, here we are, second week, and she's not fucking fired. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, and some judge says you can't fire her, which when it's already established by case law previously that he has total authority to do this, as I understand it, and fire her.
First of all, there's a thing in the government you can do, okay, especially for these high-level positions. If let's say he didn't have the authority to fire her, he would have the authority and does have the authority to take away her security clearances.
Right.
If you don't have a security clearance, you can't work in that position.
Mm-hmm.
So that you can't even enter the building because you are exposed to all this classified information. So all he would have to do is say, "You no longer have a security clearance, so I'm not firing you, but you can't come to work. You're not even allowed to come in the building." But
fine. Why don't they do any of these things? And why does Trump continue to obey the clearly established by precedent unlawful orders of federal district judges who don't have the power to do this? Why does he obey? Not only would I say your order will be ignored, we're still going to, all these people that are on the plane, guess what? That plane's taken off, bitch. And then I would throw the judge in prison. I would just put the judge in prison. I don't know. I wouldn't even make up a charge. I'd just say, we're going to go find a military prison. You're going to sit there until you change your ruling. Have fun. That's what I would do. I would start a war with these people. Why won't he fight them? That's what, Blake, you got any thoughts?
It gives them an excuse. Not to
act. Play politics, I guess.
The judge blocked me. There's nothing I can do right now, but when we work this out, giving me a little more time, we'll change things.
Okay. It doesn't stop there, though. For instance, look at Trump's cabinet. Okay, a month and a half has gone by. They have not approved one single solitary one of these cabinet appointees. They won't do a voice vote. They're doing hand counts and all this stuff and hand votes. They're just dragging it out. Trump's going to get completely through his first term and not have a full cabinet. They wouldn't let him do recess appointments. He's the first president in U.S. history to not have a recess appointment. Zero recess appointments.
This is why we need a little.
I'm telling you, if Trump was serious, if he's listening to this, or AI's listening to this, or NSA is listening to this, he would want guys like me to go in.
I chat GPT.
Who don't care, who don't, I'm not concerned for my safety. I'm not concerned anybody's going to kill me. And if they do, I'm just out of here into my next life. So, I would go in, guys like me, and there are more guys like me than just me. I would go in and literally decimate the criminal population in DC. They would be done within a matter of days, but that's not what they want. They want to be able to manipulate and control and put up these smoke and mirrors to appease the American people so that they can get away with murder, doing things that they're not supposed to be doing against the American people. And it's continuing today. I don't care who's president. I don't dislike Trump at all as a person. But if he really was the person that we thought we elected, he would be going hammer and tong after every one of these people.
We don't need him to be the person that we thought we elected. We need him to be the leader that we thought we elected.
Right.
And that's where he's failing us right now. Now, for those of you who aren't clear, the Roman practice of decimation involved putting a group of 10 men together from a legion or a platoon or something that had failed on the battlefield. And into a bag were placed 9 black stones and 1 white stone. And the person who pulled the white stone was beaten to death by the other 9 members of his own troop for their failures on the battlefield. And so when Steve says decimation, that sounds pretty good to me. Let's have gladiatorial games and decimation for the members of Congress who aren't doing their jobs. That's fine with me. I can't believe this show isn't banned. All right, we got one more thing I want to talk about here before we get going. Let's talk about one of the things that Trump kind of is doing and has done. He did something pretty interesting today. He moved the Space Force the fuck out of Colorado.
Well, thank you very much. It's a very important day and an important announcement with great friends of mine. I think I can say this group is every one of them. I rate a 10. I can't always say that, even if they're Republicans, and these are Republicans, great Republicans. I want to thank you all for being here for this important announcement, 7 years in the making. As you know, this has been going on for a long period of time, and I am thrilled to report that the U.S. Space Command headquarters will move to the beautiful locale of a place called Huntsville, Alabama, forever to be known from this point forward as Rocket City. Okay, so Huntsville, Alabama. We love Alabama. I only won it by about 47 points. I don't think that influenced my decision, though, right? That didn't, right? But we had a lot of competition for this, and Alabama's getting it, Huntsville in particular. So congratulations, everybody. Katie, congratulations. This will result in more than 30,000 Alabama jobs and probably much more than that, and hundreds of millions of dollars of investment. And that's billions, because it can't be millions. It's billions and billions of dollars. Most importantly, this decision will help America defend and dominate the high frontier, as they call it. I want to thank Secretary Pete Hegseth. He's doing a fantastic job. And Secretary of the Air Force, Troy Mink. Troy, thank you.
Okay, by the way, Mr. President, it's not the high frontier, it's the final frontier. But is this a way to dismantle the government, Blake? Is this a way to do it? You basically just close down these offices in these blue states, ship all the people and all the jobs out to a deep red state. Even if all 30,000 of those people migrate from Colorado to Alabama, he's only going to win it by 37 points next time. Even if they're all Democrats. Isn't this, I've always thought he should do this. I thought we should move Los Alamos the fuck out of New Mexico and turn New Mexico red again. Move it to a deep red state like
New Mexico will never be red. The only thing keeping New Mexico alive are government contracts and government agencies.
That's right.
If the government leaves, they're done.
Two
They have
counties.
no industry. They have nothing. All they have is crime.
They have dirt.
All of New Mexico is red except 2 counties, and those 2 counties rule.
Okay, so Blake, what do you think about this strategy? Is this a way of dismantling the deep state brick by brick?
It could be part of that. So that is an interesting and bold move. And what also is fun about that, it's actually only like 2 hours away from me. So I could take a day trip there. That'd be interesting. That's actually like making, Alabama maybe a tourist destination, although I'm not sure so much about that. But no, it's interesting that it's kind of, in my backyard.
If it's going to be Rocket City, they're probably going to put some more rockets outside some of the government facilities there as tourist attractions. Those are really cool when you see the old leftover. Man, if you've never seen the Saturn V, holy shit, you got to go see the last remaining full Saturn V. That is an extraordinary.
The other place is the Stennis Space Center down in Mississippi.
Yeah,
I've been there, and that's where I sat in the Orion capsule. And I can tell you right now, I'm just too big for the Orion capsule. The Gemini capsule and the Apollo capsule, forget about it. I'd be crazy before we got in orbit.
Yep. And there is a Boeing plant in Huntsville. That's correct, boy dogs, and that is where Werner von Braun's organization was set up. Was Huntsville, Alabama, after the war. That's where the Redstone rockets were built, and it was deeply involved in NASA and going to the moon. So. Steve, you got any thoughts on this strategy? Should we do this? Should we start dismantling? How about in states that are reasonably, purple, moving major Democrat strongholds, moving jobs out of there to really, really deep red states where they can't change the outcome of the election, but we can change it in the old state. Like, is this a good strategy?
Well, I have no issue with them moving anything anywhere. My only concern is obviously national security of the agency itself. So you don't want to move an agency somewhere where they're vulnerable to terrorist attack and that type of thing. But other than that, the states where you have hardworking people like Alabama, they should get government contracts. I would be all for moving Los Alamos to another state. But of course, part of the problem in Los Alamos is they have no security and stuff leaks out of there all the time. So if you're going to move it somewhere where you can plug the leaks and get rid of all the dead weight and leave them behind.
Yeah.
But I'm like I said, I've always found it to be very, I guess I'll use the term disheartening when you see a thriving community and the military base closes down and it turned like overnight. It literally turns into a ghost town. The government facility is neglected. It's falling apart like Anniston, Alabama. And so I'm glad to see some things going back in there, and the people of Alabama are going to make some money.
Good. All right. Any final thoughts, gentlemen, before we call it a night? Thank you for your attention to this matter. Steve, any thoughts?
Negative. I think we've covered everything pretty thoroughly.
Including Steve's thoughts on relationships. Dr. Brooks Agnew, any final thoughts before
you guys need any advice? I'm available. You got my number.
Yeah. I think we've done pretty well. I just keep reminding people this is the best roundtable on the internet. We cover all the top stories. We cover it frankly. We cover it from a masculine point of view, and we are always right.
That's
true. If you literally put up our commentary against what's going on, we are always correct.
Correct.
Blake Wally, TV's Blake Wally, from the strip club, the Lickety Split, the most popular strip club in Nashville, owned and operated by TV's Blake Wally. Any final thoughts tonight or anything else you want to talk about?
I guess just to tie it together, as Brooks said in the very beginning, it's cooling off. It's good that the fall is here. It's football season. It's refreshing. It's great, and I'm happy to be part of it. It was nice after the 2-week hiatus to be here. Great round table. Good times.
We were actually under 100 degrees here in Las Vegas today, and we are not scheduled to go back over 100 degrees in the foreseeable future. So we may have made it through my second summer here in Vegas, and God knows it was a lot better than my first.
I have one.
Last year was hell.
I have a question out of just pure curiosity, means nothing. But have you got any rain yet at all? Any?
We've had 1 or 2 days we had 1 day of light rain. We had 1 day of pretty much tsunami conditions, which is what you get. But we normally have 1 day a week, as I understand it, of really torrential rains, but just really haven't had much of that. Just 1 day. I would say that was back in, early August. We had 1 or 2 days, and that was it. So no, not really. I got to water my cactus. I water them every 2 weeks. So
that's terrible.
All right.
Bad.
All right, guys, that's going to do it. I will be back tomorrow with Real News Live with Mike and Jen on Wednesday, the usual time, 1 p.m. Eastern. And then I'll be back on Whiskey and Wisdom with the original Mark Z tomorrow night at 8 Eastern. Brooks.
Well, I have one thing to bring up. Last Saturday, India Post issued a global letter saying they are no longer shipping to the United States. This is huge because that's where our ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine and fenbendazole come from. So my website has been down for a little over a week. We've had zero revenue since last Saturday. It is devastating to my import business. We've been thriving for 4 years. And I don't know if we're going to come back up or not. India Post is not showing any signs of relenting. And we're trying to find some domestic sources, but it doesn't appear to be very fruitful. Please put me in your prayers. Got to find a source. I have 55,000 customers, many of whom are treating their cancer with fenbendazole. I have to find a source. So if you have any, you know of any, your neighbor, your friend, your associate, somebody you found on the internet, send the contact to me. Somebody out there has ivermectin for sale.
Okay. And I will talk to Mark about that because I know he knows some people that I do not believe they get it from India. So I will find out and let you know tomorrow. All right.
Thank you.
Very important stuff. All right, guys. That is going to wrap it up. Good night, stud muffins. All right, guys. Thank you for that. Thanks for being a good moderator there, Deb. Everybody hang in there. And we will, as we say, see you next Tuesday. Bye-bye.